We're gonna get started in constructive rest. That's what I'm thinking of this evening. And we're not gonna start the music just yet. I think just for a few moments, we'll have a little bit of silence, right? Constructive rest. Just think about placing the soles of your feet on the floor. And if your knees are good pointing up, you can leave them like that, but you might also think about dropping your knees then towards each other so that they're kind of supporting each other and you're leaning into the outer edges of your feet a little bit more. And then your arms are just gonna do whatever your arms are gonna do here. I'm a big fan of stretching them out. You might wanna stretch them wide or overhead, but another nice thought might be to place a hand on your heart and a hand on your belly. As you come onto your back. Good, so just taking a little bit of time here to get settled. And to notice how your physical body is feeling after today. And to notice what breathing is like today. If it feels easy or challenging. Good. Breathing deeply in through the nose. And out through the nose if you can do it, or maybe you want to breathe out through your mouth with a big sound. Focusing in on the way your breath sounds this evening. Focusing in on whether your breath feels smooth or kind of choppy. A little bit of time here just to kind of do nothing before we start doing a whole lot of some things. There's a whole lot of something to do. We have big jobs ahead of us. But for now, let's just rest. Yeah, for now, just you and your breath. Good. And you might spend a moment here just checking in with yourself beyond the body, beyond the breath, and into what's going on in your mind. All of the thoughts that are buzzing around in there. And yoga is this really wonderful practice that helps us to find a little bit of space between ourselves and our thoughts, just for some amount of time, right? It is useless to walk around thoughtless all day, but it is very useful to give ourselves a little bit of time and a little bit of space. So just observing those thoughts as they pass through, some visitors for now. There's this bedtime story podcast I listened to that I think, Amy, you hipped me to last year. It's so great. And she was telling this bedtime story recently, the front door and the back door, where your mind ought to be like a room where there's a front door and a back door, and so the thought comes in the front door and it goes out the back door, and you do not make it tea. Okay, maybe you don't stop and chat during your practice. You just watch it come in the front door and watch it go out the back door. A couple more breaths here. And by the way, that's not easy. that takes a lot of practice. So doing your best, just doing your best this evening in all things. Great. Great, one more big deep breath in here through the nose. Big breath out through the mouth. Cool. All right, and why don't we just hug our knees in towards our chest a little bit. Stretch those muscles in the glutes and under the glutes. Good, yeah, notice your lower back here and see if you can maybe walk your sitting bones out a little bit so that you feel your low back kind of flattening into the floor. It has this natural inward curve. Let's see if you can get it a little bit, yeah, just a little bit more flush with the floor. If you want to pick up your head and draw your head up towards your knees, that's a thought and a really nice way to start to warm the belly a little bit here to kind of build that fire. Good, maybe even touching your knees to your eye sockets, and then go ahead and just relax back down to the floor. Hug that left knee in towards the chest, and we're gonna send that right leg out long here. Great, and from here, roll that left ankle around a few times in each direction. Good. Wonderful, deep breath in. And a deep breath out. And I totally made a boo-boo. I should have had you start the music after we started to move a little bit. So if you've got your phone or whatever device you're going to play the playlist on nearby, go ahead and get that started. Good, and then we're going to send that left foot up towards the ceiling. And if you have your strap or your scarf nearby, go ahead and wrap that strap right around the bottom of your left foot. And think about taking your strap up to that place right underneath the ball mount of the foot. And press your heel up, spread your toes nice and wide. Okay, if the lower back is protesting, bend that right knee and place the sole of the foot on the floor. Good, and then from here, just a few moments to feel the back of that left leg. Good, nice. One more breath. Good, let's take that left ankle over the right knee. And this is a nice place to hang out here. You might even rock a little bit from side to side. Another option is to hug that right thigh in towards the chest. And maybe grab a hold of that right knee and rock from side to side too. And sometimes we get some pain in our lower back because we're clenching our glutes like crazy and we don't even know it. So take notice of how things are feeling around there right now. Good. 2 more breaths. All right, and then let's unwind ourselves out of this and take a starfish pose, which is you lying on the floor, just taking up space, your feet open nice and wide, your arms stretched out nice and long. Then you might even think about walking your heels out a little bit, maybe reaching those arms overhead. Perfect. Yeah, maybe 3 more breaths here in the middle. We won't be here forever. All right, and then let's hug back in again, knees towards the chest. You might pick up your head, take a little rock around in the middle of your back. Great, and then let's set that left foot down. And we're gonna rotate that right ankle a few times in each direction here. So just kind of waking that foot up. Yeah, if you've got cranky feet or ankles, take notice. Notice if you're spreading the toes nice and wide. Notice the cracking if you've got that going on. And then let's grab a hold of your scarf or your strap and wrap it around your foot, up near the ball mound if you can. Good, and then send that right leg nice and long. And you're welcome to extend that left leg out to the end of your mat as well, if that feels good in your hips and your lower back. Good, just using your breath here. Keep yourself right where you are. Perfect, one more breath. Okay, and then let's rebend that left knee if the leg is extended long. We'll cross the right ankle over the left knee, and your choice. You can leave that left foot down and gently rock from side to side, or maybe you want to hug that left thigh in towards your chest to get into those muscles under the glutes just a little bit more to get into that hip. Good, 2 more breaths. All right, and then go ahead and unwind yourself. Take that right foot down to the floor. Let's bring the feet as wide as the mat, the knees pointing up, and now we're just gonna rock the knees from side to side. And you might move quickly, you might move slowly, but no matter how fast or slow you're going, try to be mindful. Like, how is this really feeling? Does it feel good to do this? Maybe you want to pull the knees into the chest and rocking your lower back a little bit more instead of doing this. And just a few more breaths. Getting into these deep core muscles. These muscles that kind of tense up when we're stressed out. Good, and then from here, let's think about making our way up into a seated position. You might rock a couple of times along the length of the spine. You might consider even taking like a little bit of a boat pose as you do that. And holding yourself on your sitting bones. And eventually, let's all just find our seat and find our strap. Yeah, and we'll just take a little bit of time to stretch through the upper body now. We bring the lower body a little bit. So let's take that strap up and overhead. And then we're just gonna dip over to the right here. And as you dip over to the right, feel the right side of the rib cage sort of lifting up. Yeah, and I stretch through that left side body. Good, and then bring yourself back through to the center, and we'll go over to the other side. And feel that left side of the rib cage sort of press towards center. Yeah, nice big opening through the right side. Good, as you inhale and come back through the center, widen your grip, and then take the strap behind you a little bit. Good, yeah, feel that nice stretch through the underarms, chest, and then we're gonna drop it down behind, and let's wrap the right arm underneath the left and kind of give ourselves a little hug here. Good, drop your head down, maybe rock your head from side to side. If you've been holding tension in your jaw, stick your tongue out or wiggle your jaw around, whatever works. Good, and then open those arms up nice and wide. Big stretch, lifting that heart. Good, we'll take it the other way now. So the left arm underneath this time, I think. Give yourself that little hug. You might wiggle the shoulders a little bit. You might roll that head around. Just any kind of intuitive movement here. Good, and then let's release those arms. Hands come to the knees. And we'll take some circles now with the upper body. So thinking about moving in a way that that helps you to get rid of some of the rigidity that you carry around in your shoulders and your jaw and your neck. Good. Your head might kind of move along with everything else. Good. Notice your belly. Good. Notice your low back. And notice your breathing. Good. And we'll take those circles in the other direction. Good. Just another few deep breaths. Good. And then come to sit up nice and tall. Let's take those arms up and overhead. Let's interlace the fingers and then press the palms up here. Good. Feel your sitting bones on the floor and just, yeah, nice opening through the fingers. Good. We'll go ahead and release on out of this and come up into a standing forward fold. And in your standing forward fold, take your feet just about as wide as the mat. If you want to interlace your fingers behind your back and press your knuckles up that way you can, or you can use the strap here too. So dropping your head down, and then taking your arms out past, kind of beyond the back. Good, and maybe a little rock from side to side here. A little something. Let's drop that strap down. We're gonna sit the hips in between the heels and take a little bit of a squat, or maybe a big squat. Good, notice your ankles. What's going on there? How about the knees? And let's move a little bit from side to side. Okay, if that works in your hips, you can keep that movement going. You might breathe a little bit more forcefully as you move from side to side. Good, and then let's go ahead and just come on out of that and roll ourselves all the way up to standing. Okay, and we are going to use a little ball here to roll at our feet. If you don't have a ball nearby, like a can from the cabinet can also work for this. It's a really nice thing to use. All right, so we're just going to roll our foot out. It might be a little difficult to see. I gather that my lighting is a little funny here. But what we're going to do is just move that tennis ball up and down the arch of the foot. Move it up and down. Your feet might be sore. And maybe you didn't know they were before, but maybe after pressing a tennis ball into them, you're recognizing that they're a little sore, a little overused. Just taking time to gently maybe press into those places that feel a little funky, right? Not so that you're like hurting yourself, but so that there's just a little bit of extra pressure there. Good. All right, a little sweep again, a couple more broad strokes along the arch. Okay, and then we're gonna plant the heel down and we're gonna move the ball of the foot from side to side here. Good, if you're moving the ball of the foot side to side, let your toes move along with the rest of your foot. Sometimes I catch myself like gripping my toes, like death gripping. So see if you can release that grip just a little bit and let the toes move too. Good, let's move that heel onto the ball now. We're gonna take the ball of the foot down to the floor and just step down on the tennis ball a few times. And you wanna move around the heel, like to the inner edge and the outer edge and the front and the back. And also maybe focus in on that little point just in front of the heel. Yeah, that's always a little tender for me. Good, and then go ahead and just step off the ball. And we're gonna stand in mountain pose for a moment. There's something so nice about feeling your feet on the floor. You notice your right foot. And notice your left foot. Good. One more deep breath in here. Exhale, feel both of your feet on the floor. Right. And let's take it on over to the other foot now. So we're gonna take that tennis ball or the can underneath your left foot and just start to move it up and down the arch. And again, this might be like, so tender. Oh, it's always a little funky for me. So just feeling it out here. Good. Okay, are there any spots that your foot needs a little bit more attention on? Good. Just a few more moments here, the arch area of the foot. Right, and keep on rolling it out. A couple more broad strokes just to kind of break up the weirdness. All right, and then we're gonna place the heel on the floor and rock the ball of the foot from side to side a couple times. And as you do that, let your toes wiggle along with the rest of your foot. And see if you can keep your shoulders at ease. The muscles of your face, maybe a little bit more relaxed. Yeah, one more breath like this. And then we'll roll that ball over to the heel and just begin to step down a few times. So really what we're doing here is we're just trying to sensitize our feet a little bit more. We really, we could stand to do this every day. Wake up in the morning, roll out your feet. When we roll out our feet, it gives us a little bit more connection to the earth, a little bit more connection to the ground. Who doesn't need more of that? All right, so let's go ahead and move on out of this. We're just gonna get the ball out of the way so you can kind of kick it out of the way. And let's stand up nice and tall for a moment here in the mountain pose. So standing up really nice and strong, your arms alongside your body. Your feet can be together, they can be hip width or even wider if that feels best to you. Good, notice the weight in your heels, the weight in the balls of the feet. Your tailbone heavy, your heart picks up, your collarbones broaden. Good, a deep breath in here. Deep breath out. Great, let's inhale, reach those arms up and overhead, big old stretch. And then we'll exhale and we'll dive forward over two long legs. Good, breathe in, lift up halfway, palms onto the shins or knees. And as you exhale, let's take it back into hands and knees or downward facing dog, whatever feels best in your body today. So finding your way back. Okay, if you're on hands and knees, some cats and cows might be just the thing, wiggling that spine around. If you've made it to your down dog, you might inhale, roll forward into high plank. Exhale, lower down. Breathe in, pick up the heart. And then breathe out and take it on back into down dog or child's pose. Good, we'll just take a few breaths here to move around. Good, great, one or two more breaths. Great, as you inhale, look in between those hands and then exhale to move your feet up to the top of the mat, your favorite way. As you breathe in, lift up halfway, nice long, strong spine. Yeah, exhale, fold forward over two long legs. Good, soften those knees, come all the way up, reach nice and high, big stretch. Yeah, let's dip over to the right here. Feel the right side of the rib cage kind of press to the center and then come back through to the center and dip on over to the left. Feel the left side of the rib cage press through to the center. Good, and then come on back and we're gonna come into mountain pose, dropping those arms down. Good, feel both of your feet on the floor. And a nice strong legs, kneecaps lifting. Good, inhale, reach those arms up. Take a little baby back bend and then exhale to dive forward over two long legs. Good, as you breathe in, lift up halfway, palms to shins. Exhale, plant your palms down and take it back into your down dog, onto hands and knees. If you wanna go through your plank, your chaturanga, lowering yourself down, keeping those elbows close, you can do that. So all of these flows are designed, you design them for yourself. What movements feel appropriate to you? What feels balancing? What feels strong to you? Then maybe you need to rest. Maybe that's what's strong today. Good. Eventually we'll all meet back in a child's pose or a downward dog for a few big breaths. Good. Big breath in. Deep breath out. As you inhale, look in between those hands and then exhale to step, walk, hop those feet up to the top. Good. Inhale, halfway lift here. And exhale to fold yourself forward. Good. Soften those knees. Come all the way up. Sweep those arms out wide. Reach them high. Let's grab a hold of the elbows overhead here maybe. See what that's like. Maybe it's weird. Maybe you take your hands to your forearms to make the connection, or even this loose like halo situation. And then a little swing around here. Okay, just like a little circle. Okay, a little something. Again, finding space through the sides of the body here, sides of the rib cage, strengthening the muscles of the belly and the back. Good. We're going to release the arms, hands together at the heart, and sit down into a chair pose. So as you sit in your chair pose, thinking about creating angles with your body. It doesn't really matter what degree the angles are. Maybe your knees are only bent a little bit. Maybe the knees are bent a whole lot. Your hands at your heart here. Let's think about wrapping that right arm underneath the left again, giving yourself that hug around. Or if you want to eagle wrap the arms, interlacing the forearms, that's a thought too. Good, and then let's swing the upper body a little bit from side to side, just a little sway. And then a little slither. And then release those arms and fold yourself forward. Good, breathe in, halfway lift, palms onto your shins. And as you exhale, step them back into your high plank pose, or plank with the knees down. And we're gonna take a side plank over to the right. So with your right hand down, that right knee might be down or it might be lifted. Raise that left arm up. Good, think about really engaging the right side of the rib cage, right hip up, good. And then let's come back down to your plank, or plank with the knees down, and just go through your flow. So it might be the chaturanga, might be you pressing back to child's. Good, finding movement that makes sense to you. Nice. Good, just to take a few more breaths here. Great, as you inhale, look in between those hands, and then exhale, step, walk, or hop those feet up to the top of the mat. Yeah, breathe in, halfway lift. Exhale, fold on forward, nice. And then soften those knees, sweep those arms up and overhead. Good, maybe taking that little bit of like a swing around here again, if that works for you. Another thing you could consider is really reaching those arms overhead, thinking about pressing the palms together, interlacing the fingers so that like your index finger points up, and drawing a circle with the fingers on the ceiling. Good, a couple more breaths. Before we sit down into our chair pose, making those angles with the body, pressing the palms together at the center of the chest. Good, yeah, as you make those angles, just take notice of your toes. Can you see them? Ideally, they're at least a little bit visible here. And then we'll just wrap the arms the other way. So I think this time the left arm is underneath. That seems right, yeah. Good, as you take that wrap, maybe it's the full wrap, interlacing those forearms too. And just like a little wiggle and a little slither with your upper body. Good. It's a nice way to just get out the weirdness from in between the shoulder blades. Good, another deep breath in. And then go ahead and just release into your standing forward fold. Shake it out. Nice. You might even take your hands to the hair at the top of your head and sort of pull your own hair. It's a nice way to relieve tension through the back of the neck. Yeah, scalp tension. Good. As you breathe in, lift up halfway, palms under your shins. Exhale, plant your palms down and step on back into your high plank or plank with the knees down. And we're just gonna shift into that side plank over to the left this time. So if the left knee wants to drop, that's great. Maybe the left knee is lifted. You can reach that right arm up or even out past your head. Yeah, sometimes I like to make a fist with my upper hand as I kind of like, yeah, feels really awesome. Good. All right, when you're ready to get out of it, you'll know it. Come on down and then make your way back and through your flow, which might be your chaturanga. Maybe you want to be like really sweet and easygoing with yourself and find your belly and just make contact with the floor for a moment or two. Good. The Vinyasa practice is a strengthening practice, right? This is preparing us to do all the stuff we have to do for all the years to come, right? Those chair poses, that's so we can like get out of a chair when we're 80. There's a reason for them. Good. When you're ready, inhale and look in between your hands. And then exhale the step walk or hop to the top of the mat. Let's breathe in and halfway lift here. And then exhale and fold yourself forward again. Good, we're gonna soften those knees. Inhale, come all the way up, reach nice and high. Take a little stretch. And then let's bring the hands together at the heart. And we're gonna take a little bit of a balancing shape. We're gonna practice quite a bit of balancing this evening. So tree pose to get started. Let's stand on our left foot. And right now I have my right toes touching the floor and I've just started to turn my right knee out towards the side. That's a really nice place to be. Okay, so holding yourself here for a moment or two. If you wish to take the sole of your foot up to your calf or maybe help it up to the thigh. Yeah, it's up to you. Just whatever works. Find a steady place for yourself. And maybe you're steadiest with your hands together at the heart, or maybe you want to do some like kid on a balance beam stuff. I'm a fan of that. Or even reach those arms overhead. Good, a deep breath in here. Good, if you've reached your arms up, bring them back down, and we're just gonna take that right knee and bring it in front of us, and let's stand up nice and tall here, just kind of holding that right knee up. Good. If you like, you could extend that right leg forward and really use your quadriceps to hold that leg up, maybe just for a breath or two. Yeah, awesome. And then we're gonna kind of bend that left knee and step the right foot back a bit. So it's not all the way back, maybe about halfway back on your mat. Your feet are on two separate tracks. Hands to the hips, let's lift the heart up. And then exhale, and we're gonna fold into a pyramid pose here. So it might be nice to keep your hands on your left shin. If you have a couple of blocks or block-like items or any old thing, or even like a chair nearby to place your hands on, that's a nice way to support yourself. And we're just gonna fold over that left leg for a bit here, maybe 5 breaths. Good, and in the spirit of balancing, think about pressing back into your right heel, pressing forward into your left big toe, and then reach those arms back alongside you. Really, yeah, kind of like activating those arms. Crown of the head reaches forward. Good, and then we'll come on up, reaching those arms nice and high. Grab a hold of the elbows, take a tiny little back bend here. Good. Let's take the right arm underneath the left and give ourselves a hug around. Good, we're gonna shift back onto that left foot. Ooh, I'm a little wobbly. And then either find that tree pose again with your arms crossed, or you might take like a half chair, crossing your right ankle over your left knee. Good, and maybe you start to sit down a little bit here. It's a thought, never a requirement, just a thought. Good, a breath or two. Okay, let's go ahead and come out of it And just give ourselves a nice little swing around. Couple big breaths in and out. Right, and then come on back through to the center. Let's inhale, reach those arms up and overhead, and exhale, sweep yourself into that forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms. Take it on back to your down dog or through your flow, whatever feels best to you. Hands and knees for some cats and cows, perhaps. Good. Few more breaths. Good. As you inhale, look in between your hands and then exhale to bring your feet up to the top of the mat. Let's soften those knees. Come all the way up. Reach nice and high. And bring your hands together at your heart. Good. We're going to practice that same thing on the other side. So this time, let's find the left foot on the floor, or right foot on the floor, sorry, yeah. And maybe your left toes touch down. Good, maybe you bring your left sole of the foot up to the calf, or even up into the thigh. Okay, there's a lot going on in this pose, but really take notice of your right foot on the floor and your left foot kind of pressing into that right leg, if that's what you're doing. And let your arms do what they want to do here. Good, they might reach up. Good, 2 more breaths. Okay, and if your arms are somewhere else, bring your hands together at your heart. Let's bring that left knee forward, standing up on that right foot. Good. You might hold yourself here if you want to kick that left leg out. Really use the muscles of that left thigh. Go for it. Good. A deep breath in. And then we're going to rebend that left knee and step the left foot back just a bit, like about halfway back on your mat. Your hands come to your hips. Feet on 2 separate tracks. Lift the heart up. Good. Exhale, fold forward over that right leg. All right, take notice of this leg. What's going on here? You might drop your head down, kind of swing it around. Good, and then let's lift up about halfway here, reaching the crown of the head forward. Take those arms back. Think about pressing way back into the left heel and forward into your right big toe. Good, and then let's sweep those arms up and overhead again. Good, we're gonna hug that, I think, right arm underneath this time, could be the left, whichever one we haven't yet done. And then let's come back onto that right foot, and maybe it's a tree pose again. Or maybe you want to cross that left ankle over the right knee as you come to sit down a little bit here. Great, try to keep your breath flowing if you can. Good. 1 or 2 more breaths. Right, and then you're just gonna kind of free yourself. Yeah, get those arms and legs out. Bring your feet to the floor, and we're just gonna shake our bodies, like really shake. Okay, see if you can shake your butt, like see if you can feel the muscles kind of leaving the bone a little bit. Just giving ourselves a moment with this kind of totally not yoga movement. This is actually movement for trauma release. Good, so letting those shoulders go too. And then let's find a strong mountain pose here, nice and tall, feet on the floor. Yeah, your arms are nice and long here. Good, inhale, reach me up and overhead, little back bend. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms and take them back and through the flow that makes the most sense to you right now. Good. If you want to do the strong thing, take your high plank, lower yourself down. If you'd like to rest, maybe you're stepping back into a plank and then touching your knees down and finding child's pose. Good. Awesome, everyone. And I think we're going to make our way back into a child's pose, all of us. So for just a moment or two, we'll take those knees down to the floor, shift the hips back towards the heels. The knees can be really, really wide here, or they can be close together. And let your head touch down onto the floor. Good. It might be nice to rock your head from side to side for a moment. We're feeling contact with the ground here. Good. And let's breathe maybe 5 good breaths. And as you breathe, notice your lower back moving. Notice your pelvis even moving a little bit. You're kind of getting in touch with that internal sensation of the breath moving. Good. A couple more breaths. Okay, and then from here, we're gonna make our way back into a downward facing dog or onto hands and knees. Good, and then as you inhale, look in between those hands and exhale to move your feet up to the hands in your favorite way. Good, breathe in, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, and let's hold on to this one for a second. So your feet can be kind of wide, they can be close together. And if you can grab a hold of your calves or your ankles or even like your big toes, go ahead and do that. And just think about drawing the head down towards the floor, your belly in towards your thighs. You might soften those knees a whole lot, or maybe your legs are really straight. Good, just 3 more breaths. Good, and then from here, let's start to crawl our way up to standing up nice and tall. Okay, and we're gonna practice a little bit more balancing activity here. So it might be nice to have a block-like object, I think, to be outside of that right foot. I'm just gonna angle this so it's a little bit more visible. Good, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna take an eagle pose. So let's think about standing on that right foot first, hands to the hips, starting off here. Okay, feel the steadiness maybe, or maybe it's wobbly through that right foot. Whatever's going on, just take notice, and then we're gonna cross that left thigh over the right. And it might feel nice to tap your left toes or touch your left toes onto the block. If you want to kind of hover the left toes, you're welcome to do that too. And then from here, we're gonna hug around again, left arm under the right, or this is eagle, so maybe full eagle wrap, forearms interlace. And then thinking of a little fold forward here, perhaps. That makes sense to you. Good, try to breathe deeply, squeezing those inner thighs towards each other. That's kind of the root of this. That's your stability, that inner thigh squeeze. Good, and then let's release those arms. Stay with me here. Let's keep standing on that right foot, and we'll reach back for the left foot with the left hand. Good. Think about drawing the left heel in towards the left sitting bone. Might feel nice to grab the inner edge of the foot, and then we're gonna take a dancer pose. So reaching that right arm forward. Good, kind of kicking that left foot back. Good, and go ahead and get on out of that. And your choice, you can either take the swing or you can take the shake, whichever feels best. Just taking a moment, Relieving tension. Pretty soon we're gonna lay down. Pretty soon. Okay, just a couple more moments here, some easygoing movement. Yeah, getting the hands and wrists into it maybe. Good, and then stand up strong and steady. You might really place your feet on the floor. Take your mountain pose. Good, as you breathe in, reach those arms up and overhead, and then exhale, dive forward over 2 long legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms. Take it back and through probably your final flow, I'm thinking. Yeah. So it could be the whole 9 yards. Could be some rest. Good. Why don't we spend a couple breaths in the child's pose? Again, noticing the floor, making contact with the floor. You're letting the forehead touch down. Letting your breath be as full as it can be here. Great. Last 2 breaths. Great. Yeah, and then let's make our way back up to the top of the mat, maybe shifting into down dog and then stepping, walking, or hopping the feet forward. Good. As you make it up to the top of the mat, it's just a slow and easygoing roll to stand up. And then grab a hold of your block if you're going to use it for the outside of that left foot this time. Right. And let's think about making our way into this pose really slowly. So first, just kind of standing on that left foot. Good. Sending that right heel back in space a little bit. Great. Do you feel steady here? Great. And then you're going to bend that left knee a little bit and slide the right thigh over the left thigh. And maybe those right toes touch down onto the block. That's a really nice way to help promote stability. Let's cross the right arm underneath this time and perhaps interlace. Good. And then from here, a little fold in on yourself might be nice. Good. Let's come on out of it, lifting up that chest. Let's release those arms, standing back up on that left foot. The right heel comes in towards the right glutes now. Good, and just standing here for a moment, you might reach to the inside edge of that right foot with your right hand. And then reach that left arm forward, and we'll just find some kind of dancer pose. Yeah, awesome. Okay, nothing has to be perfect. There is no perfect. And big breath in, and then go ahead and just, come on out of it. Give yourself a little shake. Good. Yeah, a little swing. 2 more breaths. All right. And then let's stop in mountain pose one more time. It's such an important pose. You can do this anywhere too, and nobody will even know you're doing yoga. That's a good thing. So feeling the heels on the floor, standing up nice and tall, your collarbones broad, your crown reaches up. Good, and then inhale, reach those arms high one more time. Exhale, dive forward over 2 long legs. As you inhale, lift up halfway. And then exhale and plant your palms down. And we're gonna step back into the very last plank-like situation, or plank with the knees down. And then we'll just lower down to the floor. And maybe slowly, maybe quickly. As you get to the floor, turn your head over to one side or the other. And just let your cheek rest there. Let your arms arrange themselves so they might come alongside you. Or maybe they're even reaching out past your head on the floor like a full pranam. For these next 5 breaths or so, feel the back of your body rise up and fall back down. Okay, we have done the work, and now it's time for some more rest. We're doing our very best to try to keep those things in balance these days. Great. Right, so from here, we're going to take a little bit of a quadriceps stretch, and this might involve a strap. So what we're going to do is just kind of prop yourself up on that right forearm and reach back for your left foot with your left hand. If your hand isn't quite making it to the foot, think about using a strap. And sometimes a strap can be nice here too, because it takes the strain off of that shoulder. So like I have the strap around my foot, and I've draped that strap over my left shoulder. I'm just kind of like hanging out with my foot here. Good. So a couple breaths like this. Right, and then let's go ahead and release out of it and shake your hips a bit from side to side. As you shake your hips from side to side, notice your quadriceps contacting the floor and how that feels. Good, let's move to the other side here. So we're gonna reach back for your right foot with your right hand. Maybe you're using a strap. Good, you can keep yourself propped up on that left arm, or if it feels better to set yourself down, you're welcome to do that too. Good, one more breath. And then go ahead and just release that right foot behind you, and same thing, a little shake out or rocking those lower legs from side to side. Kind of does the same thing. Great, and then let's lift ourselves up onto our forearms and take a little bit of a Sphinx pose here. So in the Sphinx pose, you can choose to stay just like this. You might decide to press into the hands and lift up your elbows. And then another option is to point your toes up towards the ceiling in either one of those. Good. So just taking a moment here, not too long, just a little bit of time to find some space through the belly. Good. Go ahead and set those feet back down if they're lifted, and we're going to slide that right arm underneath the left and kind of roll over onto our right side, pulling both of the knees up towards the chest. Now let's take that left arm and reach it out. Take your spinal twist on the floor here. Good. As you find the spinal twist, notice your lower back and place something in between your knees if your low back is feeling a little bit weird in the twist. Good. Maybe 3 to 5 breaths more here. Yeah, great. Great. To come on out of this, just roll onto your back, pick up your hips, set them down so that you feel aligned, whatever that means for you this evening. And we'll just spend a moment here in constructive rest before taking the twist over to the other side. So your hands might rest on your low belly, and see if you can breathe deep enough to feel that lower belly expanding out, settling back down. Great. On your own time, at your own pace, we're going to take the twist over to the other side. So just dropping your knees off to the left here. That right arm can reach out nice and long. But another thought is to bend at the elbows and take your hands somewhere onto your body. It can be a nice way to kind of like self-soothe or self-support. Good. 3 to 5 breaths more. Good. Come on back through to the center for any final movements that you would like to take before Shavasana. So that might be you taking like a bridge pose, lifting the hips. It might be you sliding a block underneath your pelvis and taking a relaxed bridge pose, supported bridge. Just know that if you're ready for Shavasana, you can go there too. It's definitely, it's kind of time. Time to wind it down. If you've got your cool cloth nearby, it might be nice, yeah. It might be nice to take that cool cloth and place it over your eyes or on your forehead. So last week I was taking a class, and during the class my 8-year-old daughter came over and put cucumber slices on my eyes like I was at the spa or something, and it was like the best thing ever. So just finding that coolness and settling yourself down whenever you are ready into that final shape, whatever it might be. Nice, everyone. And taking a moment for those little wiggles so that you can be as comfortable as possible. Just knowing that right now there is nothing to do. In this moment right now, you can just be here. Good. Checking in with the quality of your breath. And the way your body feels. And check in with your mind. Thoughts coming in through the front door, going out through the back door, acknowledged and seen. There is another layer to consciousness or self-consciousness in the yogic tradition, and it is when we acknowledge what we know to be true, what we know to be true about the world, about ourselves. And maybe just for this time, this evening, thinking about those things about you that you know to be true that are really lovely. Sometimes it's nice to give yourself a pat on the back for the ways that you show up in the world. And for the qualities that you bring to it. So what do you know to be true? just another 10 breaths or so here in this final shape. Good. Maybe the deepest breath so far today, these next few breaths. What does it feel like to fill all the way up? To empty all the way out? Good. Start to find a little bit of movement. Any kind of movement that suits you in your waking up from your practice. Might be a big stretch or pull the knees in towards the chest. Great, but yeah, we're all gonna sit up eventually. Unless you don't want to. Unless you just want to keep on laying there, and I get it. Yeah, but if you feel like sitting up, we'll all be there. And some of us will be there. And once you find your seat, let's take the hands and rub them together sort of vigorously, creating that heat in our hands. And then let's take our hands and rest them one on top of each other, on top of our heart, in this really tender place. Good, breathe in, lift the heart up into the hands, broaden through the collarbones. And as you exhale, drop your head down towards your hands and your heart, honoring your practice and each other too. Oh, yay. Thanks for coming, everybody. Happy Monday. I don't know that. I don't think Monday deserves a dance exactly, but we made it through, so here's that. Y'all are muted, but if you want to say some words, you're welcome to unmute. Yeah.
Playlist was fantastic.
Yeah, I love that one. I made it a bunch of years ago. I couldn't get it together to put a new one together today. I got to it too late, but I love that playlist. So yeah.
Playlists are just as good.
What's that?
Recycled playlists are just as good.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. I'll see you later. Awesome. Yeah. Bye, everybody. Have a lovely evening. Enjoy this beautiful weather. Yay. I'll see you soon. Bye.